Hello, everyone. In this video, I want to talk about a few tips on playing with great left hand technique. So I titled this video kind of perfect playing, and I don't mean to imply that my playing is perfect or anything, but these are techniques that have really helped me um, achieve a more legato sound, and to play with better tone. And I wanted to share them with you. So. Um, there's two main concepts that I want to talk about here. Hang on. The first one is called preparation. And so what I mean by that is if I'm playing a scale, for example, so this is a C major scale right here. When I'm playing a scale like that, what allows me to have what allows me to avoid sounding kind of choppy or disconnected, like, is a few things. Um, the first thing is preparation, meaning, so if you're playing this scale, when you get to that third note, so this is C to D and then to E, you want to do this preparation movement on the note before. So you've got C with your second finger on the third fret of string number 5, and then 4, your fourth finger on D, and then as your fourth finger goes down, watch what happens to my first finger, this one right here. It's already ready right here. So as opposed to just thinking one thing at a time, like second finger, fourth finger, and then move the first finger, you want that to be one fluid motion. When your fourth finger goes down, your first finger gets ready. So it's C, D with that prep motion. So now my first finger is already ready to play E. There it is again. When my fourth finger goes down, my first finger is ready to go. So prep, prep, prep. And here I'm shifting up to the third fret because I know where I'm headed, and it's going to be the best fingering that way. So slowly, the scale looks like this. Prep, 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 prep. And then I've run out of room for this particular major scale shape. And you can kind of check yourself as you're playing it. Try and make those, the ones that you prep for, make them sound kind of run in together, like this. You can hear them ringing at the same time. That'll kind of help you know if you're doing it right. So again, prep, prep, prep. Always prepping that first finger when that fourth finger goes down. Now when you descend, there's also a prep motion. So let's start here on the high A and come down. Now when I'm descending, the exact opposite happens. So you've got 3 to 1, and then that prep motion happens right as my first finger hits the fret. And my fourth finger is ready to go for that next note. Now, this is a little bit more tricky because you got to make sure you're out of the way for the note that you're playing. So you don't want to accidentally touch it there. You've got to be right on the tips of your fingers pretty much. And see, when I get to that first finger, my fourth finger's prepped, ready to go. Prep, 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 prep. So when you add it all up, you get this great fluidity. And so what makes that possible are those prep motions. So if that makes sense. The second topic I want to address is the idea of fingering. So fingering is so important, and I did some studying with classical guitar that really helped me with this. But the idea is to take it to the extreme, right? This would be a terrible fingering if you wanted to play, with any kind of facility. I can do it, but it doesn't sound good, right? So obviously we want to use multiple fingers when we're playing a scale. And so, but what really helps is to think of your fingers being assigned to 4 frets at a time. So if I'm here in second position, meaning my first finger's over the 2nd fret, that sets me up nicely to play this scale, because those 3 notes are all right there. 1, 2, 4. So that's kind of how my fingers are assigned. First finger, 2nd finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger. So I go up the scale, the fingering is 2, 4, and now see how I've prepped there? Yeah. Now the next string, it's 1, 2, 4. So I don't need to move there. So that's good. The next string, the fingering is 1, 3, 4. So we've got. So no moving necessary yet. But here, as we get to the B string, the notes are found on the 3rd fret, the 5th fret, and the 6th fret. So I'm out of fingers once I use the pinky. So what we have to do is add a shift in here and reassign your left-hand fingers to 3rd position. So your first finger is hovering over the 3rd fret. So as you get to that B string, you've got to shift up, and then you're set up really nicely to play those notes there. And then when you're descending, shift down. So now I'm back in 2nd position. Shift down. So this is really helpful, and it's extremely helpful when you're switching positions. So for example, so when you go up here, now I'm kind of in this position with this C chord, this kind of boxy shape. So when I go up here, I'm choosing very specifically to get to this note with my 3rd finger, because I know it'll set me up well here. This position is a good example for this. So let's go over this position real quick. So we'll start down here on the 8th fret, C, and then the next string is on the A string is 1, 3, 4. The next string we want to do is 1, and then go up a whole step, but use your 4th finger. That's a shift down. So you're starting 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, shift down, 4th finger on A. So now you're in 4th position here. 1, 2, 4, shift back up to the B string, and then it's going to be 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. Yeah. So I don't want to get bogged down too much on. I don't want to move topics too much, but the idea is, if you're learning a scale, you need to pay attention. You should never. I shouldn't say you should never, but I have found it very helpful to avoid things like this. I try to avoid stretches like this, where there's, a fret in between two adjacent fingers. So, because I have smaller hands, so I like my hand to stay kind of collapsed. Of course, I can do some stretching, but as a general rule, I find it very, very helpful to do this shifting thing where your hand basically stays like this no matter what. Yeah. So anyway, that's tip number 2. The third and final tip is, my phone's buzzing here. The third and final tip has to do with producing a beautiful tone from a note. And so a lot of young players or beginners, when they're getting started, there's a lot of this happening. Part of that is just building up the strength, to press down hard enough. But if you have a decent guitar and it's set up right, this takes very little effort to do. But what I want to show you is, especially if you're kind of ascending up the scale, there's a sense in which I'm using gravity to my advantage. So to exaggerate, to make the point, if I play this note, put my thumb over here, my hand is literally hanging on the guitar. So I'm not really trying to push this way, this direction. I'm more using gravity and just kind of hanging on the guitar. Same for here. It's like my hand's kind of falling off the guitar. Now it's different when you're going up because you don't have gravity to your advantage. But I'm just kind of letting my hand hang just slightly. It's, I'm not literally just hanging on the note. But if I stop there, you can kind of see the string go down a little bit, because I am hanging as opposed to just trying to push it down. So that's a little tip that I found that's been quite helpful, is to use gravity to your advantage. And then when you're descending, there's not much I can say about descending when you're doing a scale like that, but if you're doing more of like an arpeggio thing, there is this sense in which I'm kind of just pushing through the strings. You can see it here let's see here. So I'm exaggerating a little bit. And you can hear the tone, the notes are getting bent when I do that. But that's the idea. Or if you take a run like this, for example, like you can see the strings are kind of pushing up, and that's just because I'm just trying to like glide through the strings like that, kind of this upward movement. So anyway, I hope those are some helpful tips that will get you sounding better. If you like this kind of teaching or content, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.